The vanishing customer. The man at table 7 didn't blink. I'd been in sales long enough to know when someone was bluffing or stalling, but this guy. Nothing. He sat there, stiff as a statue, fingers wrapped around a glass of water he hadn't touched in over 10 minutes. "Mr. Evans, should I continue?" I asked, trying to read his eyes. Nothing. He stared straight through me, like I wasn't even there. It was supposed to be a routine pitch. I sell software solutions to mid-sized companies, and his business was in desperate need of the kind of streamlining our product could offer. We'd gone through the usual pleasantries, a few laughs, and a handshake. But right in the middle of the demo, when I mentioned the specifics of our data integration, he froze. Just like that. My manager always said, "Don't overthink things. Just keep talking. They'll come around." But the longer the silence dragged on, the weirder it felt. I glanced at my watch. 10 minutes had passed, and he hadn't said a word. Not even a nod. Was he okay? I cleared my throat and reached across the table, about to gently tap his hand when the door to the cafe slammed open. A woman in a black suit burst in, eyes locked on Mr. Evans. Without hesitation, she stormed to our table, reached into her bag, and pulled out a small black device, no bigger than a pager. "Excuse me," she muttered, more to herself than to me. In one smooth motion, she placed the device on the table next to Mr. Evans and clicked a button. The sound of a faint hum filled the air. "What's going on here?" I demanded, standing up, my heart racing. She didn't answer. Instead, she stared at the device, her brows furrowed in concentration. A moment later, Mr. Evans blinked, just once, and his eyes shifted from the space behind me to the woman. Slowly, as if waking from a deep sleep, he turned his head to her and whispered, "Not yet. It's not ready." The woman didn't react, she only sighed, pulling the device away and shoving it back into her bag. "Let's go," she said, grabbing his arm. "Wait," I stammered, "you can't just. What the hell is going on?" For the first time, she acknowledged me, her cold gaze settling on mine. "Forget everything you saw here. You were never here. He was never here." Before I could protest, Mr. Evans stood up, his stiff posture slowly loosening. He looked at me, a strange, hollow smile stretching across his face. "You're good at your job," he said softly, "but this isn't your world." Then, just like that, they left. The door swung shut behind them, the little bell above it jingling in their wake. I stood there, heart pounding, the weight of the encounter settling over me like a dark cloud. For a moment, I debated chasing after them, but my legs felt glued to the spot. I looked around the cafe, empty, just like it had been since we arrived. Had anyone else even seen that? As I packed up my laptop and papers, I noticed something. On the table where Mr. Evans had sat was a folded napkin. I reached for it, half expecting some cryptic message. Instead, all that was written was a series of numbers and letters. It looked like a code. My brain went into overdrive, trying to make sense of it. Was it some sort of password? A clue? I shoved the napkin into my bag and left the cafe in a daze. I needed answers, but where would I even start? The next morning, I checked the business card Mr. Evans had given me at the start of our meeting. But something was wrong. The company name, Syntax Solutions, wasn't listed anywhere online. No address, no website, no record of its existence. I called the number on the card. Dead line. I should have left it at that, let it go. But something about the whole encounter gnawed at me. Over the next few days, I found myself staying up late, trying to crack the code on the napkin. At first, I thought it was gibberish. But after hours of staring, one string of characters caught my eye. It looked like a URL. I typed it into my browser, and the page that loaded sent a chill down my spine. It was a simple black screen with one sentence: "You've seen too much." Suddenly, my screen flickered, and everything went black. My heart raced as I rebooted my computer, but when it came back on, all my files were gone, everything. Even my work files. It was as if my entire system had been wiped clean. I slammed the laptop shut, sweating. What the hell was this? Who were they? Then, my phone buzzed. A text. From an unknown number. "Stop digging, or we'll come for you next." I stared at the message, my blood running cold. What had I stumbled into? I deleted the text, but the sense of dread stayed. This wasn't over. Not by a long shot. I don't know who they are or what they want, but I can't shake the feeling that they're watching. And now, I don't know if I'll ever be able to stop looking over my shoulder.